Hello friends, I'm Manikandan. Thank you for joining me in this voice tape. This tape is called as Psychology of Achievement. Now, don't be too much bothered about the massive title, Psychology of Achievement. I'm not going to teach any psychology out here. But I'm going to speak to you about some laws to be followed in your life. Laws? Yes, of course. Not the governmental laws or any other civil or legislative laws that are in India, but our own personal laws for our own life. And when it comes to taking the life to the next level, people always have some struggle. They don't know what is really happening. Sometimes they stay put, they are not able to move on, and they are really finding it as a big problematic phase. Many people, youngsters, middle-aged people, senior citizens, people who are the boyhood stages, girlhood stages, everybody has got the same problem of being stuck at one point of time. So I thought I could share this with you, the 9 laws, which are very, very important. The idea is that after you get the awareness about these laws, you should be using either of these laws for your troublesome situations. So listen up. I need your attention for the next 30 minutes, and I'm going to introduce all the laws. I'm not going to give conceptual explanations about all the laws, but very, very short explanations, because today's youngsters need everything very short and quick fix solutions. So I thought I have tried my level best for having that as a trend. Maybe if it is too long, still, kindly excuse me. And this is going to be a resource with you forever. And whenever you find time, please keep on repeating, play this quite often and try to get the insights and try to use the laws, appropriate laws during appropriate situations. So we would like to start the program, and I promise you that the 30-minute journey is going to be a really enjoyable one. The 6 requirements for success. We all have predefined definitions for success, but there are 6 most important requirements for success. Why we like success to the most, and what is the categorical reason for having success as our number 1 attribute in our lives. The first requirement for success is peace of mind. That is freedom from fear, freedom from anger, freedom from guilt. Every man looks for peace of mind. When he retires from the day, he wants to go to bed with lots of silence in his heart and fulfillment in his mind. So he wants that peace of mind by any means. So that's the first requirement for success. Second requirement for success is high levels of health and energy. Any man is incomplete without a proper level of health and energy. So that's the second requirement. Third requirement is loving relationships. Long-term mature relationships, and relationships that could nurture happiness, that could give a sense of fulfillment, and also relationships that has mutual care and understanding. That's a third requirement for success. Fourth one is financial freedom. It's a kind of sense of abundance, not having the worry for money, not depending upon somebody to write a paycheck for you, and not looking forward to the end of the month for receiving the paycheck, or beginning of the month for receiving the paycheck. So it's a sense of abundance, the state of not having any liability of worrying about money. That's the fourth requirement for success. Fifth requirement for success is worthy goals and ideals. Having good goals and having ideals, always being on the run. Life's mission should keep moving on, right? So that's called as the worthy goals and ideals. Always having something to nurture upon. Always having something to chew. Not having more than what we can chew, but having something that we can chew. And ideals is proper levels of ideas and passionate ventures in our mind. That's the fifth requirement for success. The final requirement for success is feeling of personal fulfillment. It's called as self-actualization in Maslow's hierarchy need. That is feeling of becoming whatever we are capable of becoming. Becoming a legend, becoming a proficient person, becoming an expert in something, becoming the iconic figure on something, or becoming the most sought after person in something. So that's called as the feeling of personal fulfillment, and that's the sixth requirement for success. I want you to look into the life. I mean, which requirement for success are you really aiming for? Right now, I'm talking about this in the month of April 2014. And how's your life in the month of April 2014? Which specific requirement for success are you really worried about right now? How is your life traveling? Where is it taking you to? Come on, scan. Right? So just get into the life and see which requirement of success is very important for you. And are you really on the right track? Right? So if you have to be in the right track, I'm going to talk about a few laws here. And those laws will be the governing principles for you to take you to the proper requirement for success. Every single individual is always aiming for these 6 requirements for success, but there are specific categories of people who always look into one particular or 2 or 3 important requirements for success. How is your life going to be? And how is your life? And these laws that I'm going to talk about in this voice tape is definitely going to take you on a proper scale of achieving those 6 requirements of success. So we should start speaking about those laws. The first law that I would like to introduce to you is the law of control. Now, the law of control says only one thing to us. The degree of control that we have or we feel we have is in direct proportion to the amount of mental health we have. It says that we feel good about ourselves to the exact degree to which we feel that we have control over our own lives. We feel bad about ourselves to the exact degree to which we are controlled by our outer circumstances or other people, or things beyond our control. It also says that it is a system in which we have an internal locus of control and external locus of control. The internal locus of control, by say what I mean is, the life steering wheel is operated only by you. And external locus of control, what does it mean is, the life steering wheel is operated by somebody else for you. Perhaps an outer source or a people or the set of people or some events or some circumstances. So the control starts with the thoughts, basically speaking. So the law of control is completely operated either by your own self or it is operated by somebody else for you. Now, which one do you allow? Are you really allowing the others to operate the steering wheel of your life for yourself, or you yourself are operating the steering wheel for yourself? Well, if you say yes, that you yourself or allowing the steering wheel to control your life, then it means you are having the law of control under proper control. You are really having the law of control at the right stance. Because the control starts with the thoughts that we hold, and then it controls the feelings, and then it controls the performance we elicit. So it all starts up with the thoughts that we have, the thoughts that we emulate. So when you first of all have the control over the thoughts, it means the law of control is operating in a proper way in your life. So when you control the thoughts in the conscious mind, you will perform well, because when you control the thoughts, your feelings are controlled, and when the feelings are controlled, your performance is obviously controlled in a proper way. So law of control is very important, my dear friends. You need to take care of it. So once and foremost, whenever you take a new assignment or a challenge, you need to think and you need to reiterate the challenge in accordance with law of control. The second law that we are going to discuss now is law of accident. Well, don't be so skeptical that I talk about accident, but this is one among the laws of the universe, and we're all supposed to know what this law is all about. There's no way that we control what happens to us. That's what this law of accident says. The vast majority of men and women, by failing to plan, they are planning to fail.
The reasons for the failures, negativity, misery, skepticism, and mediocrity are because people think that the other incidents will happen for themselves. They relate one incident with the other incident. People who live by law of accident will never have control and will never have a mental well-being. So this law of accident tells us only one thing, and that is everything happens for a reason, and each and every event that is connected with a kind of universal purpose cannot be prevented. So all that is happening around us is happening for a reason, and when we are subjected into that reason, sometimes we will be happy because of the subjectivity, sometimes we'll be very sad because of the subjectivity. And in all those events, we need to understand that that thing is happening for a particular reason. We might not be knowing the reason why it is, but that is happening for a reason. That is what law of accident explains to us.
The law of cause and effect. Well, this is otherwise called as the iron law. It says that for every effect in our lives, there is a specific cause. If we do not like the effects of our lives, it is up to us to find out the causes and change them in accordance to our want and desire. Irrespective of the fact we know what the causes really are, there is a reason for everything that happens. That is what is a profound technique of this law of cause and effect. We need to understand that there is a reason for everything that happens, but also the effects can be changed by changing the causes. And we need to understand the causes and change the effects, for there is nothing called as accident in life, and everything happens for a reason. If people are really able to understand what is law of cause and effect, then that literally means that they use both law of cause and effect and law of control, as they tend to control what is bound to happen to them. Because thoughts are causes and conditions are effects. Everything that we are today is the sum total of all the thinking that we have done till this moment. So if you are really able to understand law of cause and effect, you should be understanding that your thinking is what matters most. So if we wish our lives to be different in the future, we have to change our thinking in the present. And by doing so, we change the direction of our lives. That's what law of cause and effect says. The next law is the law of belief. The law of belief simply says that whatever you believe with feeling becomes your reality. You can ask me for evidences. Manikandan, where did you get all these laws from? It's pretty simple. I got all these laws from psycho-cybernetics, and a part of the laws were drawn from psychology of accomplishment and psychology of achievement, books written by various self-help authors. And some of the laws were brought from the stupendous achievements and big successful people who have been making lots of news and who have been turning the globe around, drawn from all parts of the world, including India, definitely including India. So all these people, if you study the successes of all these people and the accomplishment ratios of all these people, you will come to understand that these laws were put into action by those people. And specifically, this law is a very, very ironic law. And it is also important to understand that this particular law has been used specifically when the successful people had faced a lot of failure. So law of belief, it says that whatever you believe with feeling becomes your reality. You basically are the sum total of all your belief system up till this moment. You don't have any doubt about this, right? So you are the sum total of your thoughts, your belief system, and everything that you have been feeding into your mind. The beliefs form the screen of logics and screen of prejudices through which you see the world. You never allow any information that is inconsistent with your belief. Your mind is a crazy jukebox. It does not allow anything that is completely opposite of your belief. Even if you have beliefs that are totally inconsistent with the reality, and to the degree to which you believe that these things to be true, they become true for you. Right? So you've got to be very careful with whatever the beliefs that you are putting in your mind. If you have self-limiting belief, irrespective of the fact whether it is based on the reality or not, to the degree that we believe that they are true, it becomes true for us. Self-limiting belief is just a dormant entity into your mind. But if you start giving life for it, and focusing more on that, it becomes true. The most of the belief that we have limit our effectiveness. The selective perception works so hard in us, and it provides the screening of only our low-level competence and confidence when we take up a challenge. So you will understand that all the self-limiting beliefs that you have are nothing but the beliefs that you have grown. You have fed them. You have really raised them. You have grown them. You are responsible for all those self-limiting beliefs. So law of belief states that don't give life for self-limiting beliefs. Whatever focus and feeling that you have good feeling and have good beliefs invested into your mind, and they will become reality. And now I would like to bring to your kind notice another interesting law, which is called as law of expectations. After the law of belief, this is also a powerful law. It says that whatever we expect with confidence becomes our own self-fulfilling prophecy. It simply says that when you start doing something, expect that you will win in it. When you start doing something, expect that you are definitely going to have happiness by finishing doing that. When you start doing something, you always expect that you are definitely going to be a successful person in this, and you are going to be very much fulfilled about it. It's as simple as that. We continue to act as our own fortune tellers in this law of expectations, because in this, by the way of talking to ourselves about how things are going to turn out in our lives, we are continuously talking that how things are going to turn out in our lives. A law of expectations also says that people who are in the high level of accomplishments continue to talk to themselves highly and on a fortunate way about all the things that are about to happen to themselves. How profound this is. Typical example is the economy of a country, where expectations on a poor way leads to inflation in the country. What do you mean by inflation? Inflation is just a state of mind. You know that? People think that the stock market indices determine inflation. No. It is not the stock market indices that determine the inflation. It is the mind of the people. People think that we are definitely going to have some sort of deficiency of money. In company, people think that our company is not booking lots of profits just like it was booking last year. And therefore, we are going to have inflation. If a group of 200 people think like this, there you go. We are welcoming inflation into our society. So, law of expectation says that you got to understand this psychology. This psychology's name is the double-blind experience. There was a very popular school, and the principal of the school was worried about some 90 students who were segregated into 3 classes. And these 90 students were really troublesome students. And he wanted some people to be put into a special project of taking care of these 90 students and getting the best out of the 90 students. Ultimately, he's a principal and he has got this equal way of symmetrical mindset. He wanted every student to bring laurels to the school. So he chose those 90 students, put into a separate department of classes, 3 classes, categorizing A, B, and C. And he calls 3 teachers into his office and he says that, look, you're the most brilliant teachers in my school. Irrespective of the fact that I have been interviewing plenty of talents to recruit some new people for taking care of these 90 troublesome children. You know about those 90 children, right? Then teacher said, yes sir, we know about those 90 children. They are the most troublesome students of the school. Yeah, right, you're right. I want you three people to bring some dramatic changes in those three classes. And I sincerely believe that you can definitely make that possible. And he gives a lengthy lecture to the teachers how special these three teachers really are for the school. And he says that you are the most brilliant teachers I have ever seen, and you are really the richest source of this particular school. So I really bank on you, and I depend upon you for better result. And he gives a set of instructions and manuals of how the classes should be going about. You know what the teachers say? No, sir. We don't want any prelude set of instructions. You have given the duties, you have assigned the duties to us. We will take care of it, they said. And the principal was very happy. Days progressed, and there was a very good improvement in those 90 children. And after 6 months period of time, exams, stroke, and all the 90 students really did well. And the teachers were really very much happy with the result, and they were really standing very proud in front of the principal. And they thanked the principal. Sir, we know that we are brilliant, but still, we should thank you for having such a big trust on us, and you were the one who really brought the best out of us. And as you asked for, the result is quite visible in the 90 children, and we are very much thankful to you, sir. The principal calmly said, relax, ladies. I told you that you were the brilliant teachers 6 months back, but it's high time that I should say the reality. Look, we wanted some teachers to take care of these 90 children, and we had a lot system of picking up teachers out of 56 teachers. And it was simply your names came out in the lot, and you were chosen out of those 56 teachers. If I had told you that you were picked out of the lot, I don't think you would have took this assignment at all. So I wanted to make you feel very special about yourselves, and that's why I said a lie that you are the best teachers. And you are having a self-worth of your own self. And I gave that statement. So your self-worth and my statement really matched together. And there we go. We have a good result. Thank you so much for that. I call this as a double-blind experience. Look, I want the result, and you want your self-fulfilling prophecy. So I labeled a statement onto the top of your head, and you believe that so strongly, and you believe that so much deeply, and you started believing that you're the best teachers in the school. And that belief, that expectation, positive expectancy was what brought the result. So thank you so much. And by the way, try to improve your profile, he said. Teachers were really disappointed, but ultimately the purpose was solved. And this particular story gives us the concept called as a double-blind experience, or the double-blind experiment. Their belief about themselves that they are supreme teachers, that has really made the difference. This is called as the double-blind experience in psychology. In both the ends, the expectations were based on total false information. That's called the double-blind experience. The expectations of the teacher on the part of students were also based on the false information, but the ultimate results were dramatic at both the ends. So, the three key areas that expectations affect our results are the expectations that our parents had, the expectations that we have of our own children, and the expectations that we have on our own selves. In the story of the double-blind experience, the principal had high expectations on the teachers, and he gave a lie as a statement, and that gave the result. So, winners have the habit of manufacturing their own positive expectancy in advance of the event. They always expect something good to happen. They manufacture the expectations, even though when they have no information. So this is called as law of expectations. Expecting good things coming out. For thorough understanding of law of expectations, remember the story of the double-blind experience, the story of the three teachers and the school principal. So the next law is the law of concentration and correspondence. It's otherwise called as the law of becoming. Each person is in a continual process of becoming or evolving or growing in a direction of his or her own dominant thoughts. This law simply states that you are becoming a person. Right from the childhood, you would have imagined or you would have dramatizingly dreamt of becoming a person or becoming a personality. And this law of concentration and correspondence says that you are becoming such a person. You are in the process of becoming such a person, and you are evolving, you are growing in the direction. But the point is, you are growing and evolving in the direction of your own thoughts, dominant thoughts. If those dominant thoughts are very negative, and if they are odd thoughts, then you are becoming a negative person. If those dominant thoughts are really prosperous, and if they are completely quality oriented, you are becoming a prosperous, quality oriented person, no doubt about that. Anything that you dwell upon grows in reality. The more you dwell on the person you like to be, the qualities you like to have, the more these thoughts get rooted into the subconscious mind. It becomes a part of your ongoing evolution. So you are actually where you are and what you are because of the thoughts you allowed into the past to preoccupy your mind. If you have a deep study in all these laws, you will be coming around on the same concept that you are where you are because of your thoughts. Persistently think the thoughts that are quite consistent with the kind of person you like to be. Who would you like to become? You become what you think most of the time in a given day. You cannot become or harbor to be a person which is quite opposite to the thoughts you had. If you want to become a worthy person, or if you want to become a worthless person, that's out of your own choice. So the development of unshakable self-confidence begins with you by taking full systematic control over the thoughts. That's what is the law of concentration and correspondence. It says, keep your mind off the things that you fear. Keep your mind off the things that you don't want. Having a systematic control of your conscious mind is all about this. And the outer world is the mere reflection of your inner world. Everything that the person experiences in the outer life corresponds exactly to something that continuously takes shape in the inner life. So you got to be very careful. Law of concentration and correspondence is the concentrative becoming of a person based upon his thoughts. There is a wonderful statement in the ancient tabloid. It goes like, every success has got decades of hard work behind it. So there is a law which speaks about this concept. And that law is called as law of accumulation. Every great life or great career is an accumulation of hundreds or perhaps even thousands of efforts that nobody ever seen or appreciated. The law of accumulation simply states that the bunches of failures that you get, the setbacks that you receive, the embarrassments, critics, and all the negative kinds of attacks you get in your life, they all are going to make you a big person one day. And this accumulation is quite important for your betterment. Because your great life and your career is an accumulation of hundreds of setbacks, efforts that nobody has ever appreciated or nobody has ever acknowledged to. So by understanding this law of accumulation, you can feel pretty much relaxed and you can have a sigh of relief whenever you face a setback, stating that I am operating with law of accumulation. I know that this setback is definitely going to take me to the heights, and this setback is just a stepping stone. So that gives you a sigh of relief. And also, great success is a continual effort and hard work for months and even years in order to become the best at what you are doing. Life is more like a balance sheet with credits and debits. Every time you do something positive towards developing yourself, you get credit. Every time you let go of an opportunity, having a reluctance to grow and learn, you get debit. Every positive action that you take, consciously or unconsciously, adds up to self-esteem. So there is no bad experience. Everything is a learning. I'm not saying this. Law of accumulation says this. The law of incremental improvement is our next law. It's an interesting name, isn't it? The law of incremental improvement. A person becomes good in his or her own chosen field by improving incrementally, continuously over a longer period of time. I honestly believe this is where most of the youngsters have lack in. Their attitude slumps down after a certain point of time, after a certain point of years of experience they put in their chosen field. Their attitude is slumping down, and the way they view their profession and the career, everything becomes so much odd and different because they are reluctant to have improvement in their own field, and they are reluctant to realize this particular fact. Look at that. You will be able to grow professionally only when you focus upon the continual improvement with the realization that you should never settle with what you have got up till now. Your goal is to pay the price for all the damages that could possibly happen on the way of reaching your destination of your chosen field. There is a statement called as there is no free lunch, which clearly means that you got to be improving. You should be better than how you were yesterday, and you should be better tomorrow than what you were today. So basically speaking, this incremental improvement clearly makes you understand that life is a continuous learning process. You know why I'm saying all these laws to you? When you are having a turmoil or a struggle at your life, I want you to have a clear look at this particular list of all the laws and take one law as a tool and put it into application so that you can get out of the particular problem. This set of laws is definitely going to help you out in terms of coming out of the problems. Because the problem, the struggle, the bottleneck, the turmoil, the turbulent times in terms of finance, everything that you are facing right now in your life will definitely be having some sort of solution somewhere. And if you'd like to find the place of the solution, then this is the list of solutions. By understanding or realizing or internalizing one of the laws out of this list, you will have a relief that, okay, fine, so this law is getting enacted in my life, and that's why I'm feeling this. Okay, now I'm into laws, the law of cause and effect. I should understand that law of cause and effect is playing role in my life. I should understand that law of incremental improvement is what is needed right now into my life. I should understand that law of concentration and correspondence is what I have to internalize right now for facing this problem. Likewise, I want you to choose the appropriate laws at the appropriate times. So this law of incremental improvement is acting there also. How? You are working, you are solving the problems, you are learning, you are trying to acquire yourself in a new dimension. So there it is. There it is. Law of incremental improvement is working over there. So this law of incremental improvement clearly states that it's a gospel law, and it states that life is a continuous learning process. The final law is my favorite. It's called as the law of substitution. Because the conscious mind can hold only one thought at a time, either positive or negative, if we consciously and deliberately substitute a positive thought for a negative thought and keep our mind focused towards positive thoughts and ideas on the person we would like to be and the attributes we should have, then that is what and how we will grow in our lives. So this law of substitution is a very simple concept. It is alternate thinking or replacement thinking or displacement thinking. When you have a bad thought or when you have a bad kind of thoughts direction, immediately stopping it and changing it to the way that you want, right? So if you have negative, replace it with positive. If you have bad, replace it with good. If you have odd, replace it with something very much energetic and inspiring. And this is a thought process mechanism. Only you can do this. Your parents, your friends, your brother, sister, nobody has got a control over this. So law of substitution simply states, substitute the odd things to good things. Substitute the negative things with positive things. So this is also more of mind-related kind of a thing. So why don't you try it? Law of substitution. Fine, so we have now 9 laws in our hand. Application is the key, my dear friends. We have these 9 laws. Basically, we spoke about the 6 requirements for success. And I have already told you that the 6 requirements of success can be obtained by a clear understanding of all these 9 laws. Law of control, law of accident, law of cause and effect, law of belief, law of expectations, law of concentration and correspondence, law of accumulation, law of incremental improvement, and law of substitution. So as I mentioned earlier, I want you to have a strict view and a strict thoroughness on all these laws. And during troublesome times of your life, I want you to have a good look at these laws and try to apply any appropriate law. If you got a problem in terms of relationship, maybe law of belief will come handy for help. If you got a problem in terms of depression, law of substitution and law of cause and effect will come to help. If you got any problem with your career or the people who are working in your profession and the people whom you are mingling with and you're not having a very good times with those people, you can understand, or you can go ahead with law of concentration, law of expectation, law of cause and effect, and you can apply all of them in that situation and you will find peace of mind. Likewise, I want you to take these as your weapons, just like a warrior goes to the battlefield. And I want you to use the appropriate weapon at the appropriate time. Even if you're a warrior, if you're not using the appropriate weapon at the appropriate time, you don't have a proper skill of winning the battle. So, thank you so much for the patience and also your effort and time invested in this program. And I really appreciate you for your commitment towards listening to the whole audio for the past 30 plus minutes. And I believe that this will definitely help you. So one day I'll meet you for listening to the success story of yours. Until then, have lawful life and a life of principle. Thank you so much.